Okay, I think everybody's kind of back from our viewing. And Paola is going to speak about her presentation. But first, maybe you and me can say a few words about Endi's program. I noticed you were there. When were you there? Last year?
I was there before the pandemic. I can't remember.
Oh, a
2018,
while ago. Uh-huh.
I think. Time is kind of confusing now. But yeah, they have a really great program. It's very like they said, Andy said in the presentation, they don't have this kind of discipline specific, like, this traditional like printmaking department, for example. So I think it feels very interdisciplinary. The students, I'm trying to remember, it was a while ago, but I recall the students were kind of from all different departments.
Oh, yeah. He kept saying discipline agnostic.
Yeah, that's the word that
a new term for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I just did a presentation and demonstration, as you saw in his presentation, and I think Michigan, the university has a really strong East Asian programming there too. So I think he's also connected to the East Asian Center and other areas. So yeah, and it's a great town too. Nice little college.
Ann Arbor was lovely, yeah. But how would you compare his program to yours in Kansas?
I would say it's very comparable because we're both kind of the flagship universities. So his school is the flagship of Michigan and mine is the flagship of Kansas, and it's a Research One university. Also similar, I think Ann Arbor is bigger in terms of the size.
Yeah, very big.
But also both kind of typical college town, Lawrence and Ann Arbor. Yeah.
Yeah, he was so generous to me. He took me down to the museum in Detroit.
Oh yeah. I got a little tour of Detroit, and I also got to meet the other print faculty there and the technicians. They were all amazing. It was a really great visit.
Yeah, that's what makes the visiting artist thing worthwhile. It's the classroom, centered around the classroom, but then we get to see the town of Ann Arbor and get a sense of what the teaching was like at that university. I had a wonderful time too. And unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be able to invite any foreign artists. He seemed very interested in Chinese artists.
I think he also did a lot of things in China too. So he has a lot of tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, he traveled there quite a lot.
So what is in Detroit that is of interest for printmakers?
It's the it's an old museum, so it was built at a time when there was money and the possibility to buy European art. So there's a lot of Renaissance, I don't know, Dürer, Rembrandt, but the big thing is the murals by the Mexican guy. My brain isn't working so well.
Diego Rivera.
Yes, thank you. Big Diego Rivera, whole room full, ceiling, walls. Just amazing thing. At the Detroit, it's not the Detroit Museum of Art. It has a slightly different name, but you can find it online. Great experience. So I found it very interesting for Endi's class, for his program, for the university program, and for Detroit too. But he's not here, so we can't ask him any more questions.
I see that now there's a nice comment for Paola. And Paola, do you want to talk to us a little bit more about your work with children and your program with children? I think that was really interesting, and I was reading Nell's comment now. I mean, I think Jennifer's works with children, but I don't think many of us actually teach Mokuanga to children, and is more, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, I mostly teach to adults, so I'm really interested on that part of your presentation.
I saw on the before of conference in Hawaii the presentation of what is the name? That she works with children, and in the case of Chile, this is a pilot program or project over 20 children. Around 6 and 7 years, and was an approximate of Mokuhanga because the general area of art, teaching art in Chile is not very expanding around disciplines different that draw and paint, but I think that it's very important to teach him the other discipline, and Mokuhanga is very well. And I mixed it with a program that I knew in Gunma, Japan, in the prefecture, that they teach at all the children in the prefecture the good environment, good excuse me, I am trying to understand you. Behaviors.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Actually, Frank was supposed to be here with the help us a little bit with the translation and support you a little bit, but I think he could. Yeah.
Ariadna speaks Spanish, I think.
Who? Sorry.
Ariadna from Spain.
But she left. She just
had to go. Oh,
yeah.
I was glad to see that the children started with pre-carved blocks. Every time I hear of a children's program, I think of how many times I cut myself when I started, and so it was good that they started with pre-cut.
Both hands on the tool.
Well, children generally don't listen to you when they start, so it was good that they started that way.
Please, Paola, if you want to continue. Oh, but Nella had a question, maybe?
Oh.
No, it was. Oh, yeah. So
yes,
again.
I want to talk to or ask a question to Paola. I try to talk a bit silently and not too fast. I'm teaching children in my studio, children from 7 to 12 years. And I teach them drawing, painting, and lino cut. And mostly when I first do lino cut, yes, they use the knives, and they stick the knives in their fingers sometimes. Although I say to them, be patient or be handle with care, but it's no problem. I just say to them, carve off from your body.
Away from your.
Of course, in the Mokuhanga, it is carving with the hangito to your body. So I'm just curious, how do you carve with the children?
No, in this case, the matrix was curved before. And the part that
Oh, yes, I see.
yes, they only print the image, and the objective of this project was to the same students create a set of didactic objects like characters of kawaii and a landscape pressed by water-based inks to they could play to the game
Yes,
with it and introduce good behaviors like a respect,
yes.
responsibility, but they don't care the table.
Okay, but they do print. They do print.
Yes, they printed by water-based inks
Okay.
with rolls.
Oh, yes, I see.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting and nice.
Yes, no, I thought it was a danger for them because the discipline in the schools in Chile are not very stricted, or no, they could anybody.
Of course, when it is a large group, then it is more difficult. And when I teach the children in my studio, it is the maximum is 6. So it's another story. So
Yes.
there's more concentration and focus. So, but what can you tell me? What is the program of Gunma which inspired you? Can you tell me more about that?
I knew Gutma by a scholarship in Japan by JICA. And then I went to a lot of city. Among of this is Gunma, the prefecture. And
Yes.
the program of Gunma is that they produce a book that they passed this book to the family and the community, and the girls and boys practice or understand the 50 rules for the, like put the shoes in the well position, say itadakimasu,
Yeah.
50 rules. But in this case, I did an research for my education master for where I found 4 principal aspects. That is the respect, responsibility, solidarity, and friendly. And these 4 aspects, we with Moa from the Museum Atami, Chile, that founded this project. We thought that is a positive activity for the children.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this project with all of us.
Thanks to you.
I thought it was interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, I have a quick question for Paola. For your own work, where are you getting materials now? Paper, wood, supplies? Are you able to source them locally? Are there papers in Chile, or do you have to get things sent from outside of South America?
Mm-hmm. Well, here are not a lot of variety of material, and the printmaker world is very poor in this area, in the area of the materials and tools. And in the case of my own work, I am trying to practice with the traditional tools. I am empowered with a home button that short time come to Chile from Goto San, and we can find Awagami factory papers, Coso, and we have the sort of to have tool maker that he do great tools for carve is Eugenio Calderon, a Chilean man, and I use cherry wood in my case personal, but in the school that we use a barren, a scholar barren is covered with a bamboo plane, but other wood like plywood in the matrix. This is about the materials, but the paper is imported by Awagami. Is the only washi paper that we can find in the market. And well, the Honbaren I bought to Goto San. The tools of carve by Eugenio Calderon, Chilean, and I have a Michiha Mono too, because I bought in the last conference in Hawaii a set, and I have one hangito from Katsutochi Yuasa when he went to Buenos Aires, Argentina, next of Chile, and this is my army tools.
And Paola, how long were you in Japan?
When?
For how long?
For 1 month.
1 month.
Around,
You had a scholarship to study in Japan for 1 month?
yes, was a scholarship by JICA, the Japanese International Collaboration Agency. That is a that was a scholar for teachers.
Oh, uh-huh.
In this time, I was studying my master in education here in Chile, and I applied to this open opportunity, and I have the lucky to go to End.
What a wonderful opportunity. And did you go to MILAB?
I am selected for the next year in MILAB.
So when you were in Japan, you stayed in Tokyo?
No, this was an itinerant program. We was in Yokohama, Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo.
Oh, nice.
Yes, very nice. It's a great experience. Was a great experience.
Yeah.
Because we was 24 teachers, Latin American teachers.
Oh, it was a group program.
Yes, was
for
a
24
group.
teachers. Wonderful.
Yes, And we could saw the research center for teachers, schools, special areas for research in the special education, and a lot of good practice in education by Japan. It's that did me the click in that this when I saw the contrast in the Japanese and Chilean culture, you could understand that Chile is a country that have a culture so I don't know how to describe it, but most wild. Maybe wild, like a Latin American. Japan are the other side is so structured, so methodic, and all is measured, and the behaviors of the people here is very different. Then it clicked me, and I thought that, and I pick up this. This is not a policy, educational policy. It's a experience, but Gunma applied it over 2056 in this year. The schools, primary, elementary schools, is a lot of children that are learning all day, the how to go in the train, how to sit in the to the dinner, to the eat, how to all the things. And I think, I thought, and I think too now that this is a space in the educational area to make a change, and mixing it with art, and specifically with mokuhanga. I think that is a strong mix that we can do here in Chile. And this project was a pilot, but I have the hope, and I hope to expand it, and to looking for more impact in the society.
Paola, sorry, I'm just interrupting you a little. I think you have two windows open in your Zoom and so we can hear a little bit of a echo. Is it possible if you close one of the two, or is it a problem for?
Yes, because I have had a little of problems, the connection with the
you can just mute one of them then.
I am in a rural place near Santiago, but I'm among the mountains, and
so this is definitely better. Thank you. I think Andrew has a little bit of an echo.
I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned the political turmoil that disrupted teaching, particularly in the arts in Chile.
What? I don't understand.
Oh God, there was political disruption.
Disruption? What is disruption?
Revolution, problems, fighting in the 90s.
In the educational?
That interrupted education in the arts.
I know, I
Sorry.
don't understand.
I think
you.
I think April is talking about the dictatorship. Is it possible? About you know, the historical part you were mentioning about one of the difficulty of studying Mokuanga in Chile. Among all the factors, you also listed,
Oh.
you know, the political situation.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
I think April wants to know about that. Is it?
I think
Mhm.
it's interesting generally how the political situation in countries has affected, well, it's very clear with Mokuanga, it affects everything, of course. We were talking about the distribution of the color yesterday, how the revolution, the political disruption in the north prevented certain colors from coming to Tokyo. So they had to substitute the cochineal. And it struck me that that was an odd thing, an odd consequence of political disruption in the making of color for Mokuhanga. And I wondered how that affected the teaching in Chile.
Yes, but in Chile was a period that the art schools in the university was closed. Philosophy and art was closed, and censor was people die, was killed, and author goes away to Europe and the United States because a political situation was extremely when the military destroyed the president or the president Salvador Allende in this case in the home or house of president, yes, house of president that represent the power, what that was destroyed and people what disappeared, killed, and that job was a shock so strongly. And in this moment, for 30 years, the art school was killed too, because only people was directive for the model, economic model, and the socialism was killed, and only the neoliberalism was increased, and the thing of the artists must to be quoted. That produce that the art in general was down. And among the art, Mokuhanga, here nobody knows Mokuhanga. Here the printmaker did the occidental west form way, the west way, by oil print.
So there was some Western printmaking, but not
Yes.
anything from Japan. Yeah, it's very interesting the way the politics always it's not separate. Everything is connected. Yeah.
Yes, and the thematic and the problematic of the artist was developed by a political area, because the shock was so strong that the emotion of the artist, sensibility, was directionable for the political resentment I don't know if it's the word, but but that was only a long time, but it's interesting too that to study the relationship between the political and the reaction expression in the artist. In Chile is an interesting case in this area.
Yeah, the things always, did you see Tula Moilinen's talk? She spoke about the newspaper prints, the Mokuhanga prints that were used to illustrate newspaper articles. And that was a lot about the politics of the Meiji era in Japan. I mean, a little different, but the way the politics influences imagery is especially interesting to me. I don't know. Let's see.
I did I published a research that I did in Spanish. This is only in Spanish, and around 7 articles too about Mokuhanga, but only in Spanish.
Well, we do have some Spanish participants. I do, you know,
Yeah,
Ariadna
unluckily.
Abadal.
Yeah, but she I think she left because.
But I mean, maybe they could be in touch.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, they could be interested, of course.
She's in, she's outside Barcelona and has been participating in the conference. She might be, I mean, she could read your article. It sounds very interesting.